The word on the street, boys, is that the price of hardware is never going down. That fairy tale about stabilization? Junk. We're watching military surplus evaporate globally. The days of buying metal for pocket change? Done. Finished. The window for picking up these genuinely capable old workhorses is slamming shut. I'm cutting through all the garbage marketing hype you see online. We're digging into the pure mechanics, the logistics nightmares, and the real defensive viability of these platforms before the inventory finally hits zero. This ain't about pretty pictures. This is about what survives the next blackout. This ain't some shiny 9mm plastic toy you pick up at the big box store. This is royalty from the Eastern Bloc, and don't let anyone tell you different. The pedigree here is pure muscle. This platform dumps rounds at a velocity the standard 9mm can't touch, unless you pay a fortune for specialized match ammo. We're talking about the aggressive 7.62 by 25mm cartridge. That speed lets this thing punch right through soft body armor and thick winter coats. If you're dealing with rural defense or need to crack a vehicle door, this is your hammer. Now, the Yugoslavian model has a slight advantage over the Russian original. It runs 9 rounds instead of 8, which is a minor but necessary bump in control. It is pure steel, single-action hammer-fired. It's built like a tank, designed to handle submachine gun pressures, virtually indestructible, provided you don't try to treat it like a modern pistol. The tactile experience? It's heavy steel. It feels like it means business when you rack the slide, which you have to do single action every time. It's got that heft that absorbs some of that crack you'd get from lighter junk metal. But here's the ugly truth, folks. The logistics on this mess are complicated. Most imports come with aftermarket safeties, slapped on so crudely they can jam up your trigger pull or mess with the holster fit. You are chained to specific M57 magazines. The standard Russian, Chinese, or Romanian ones won't latch up. Plus, that high velocity creates a serious over-penetration risk. If you're in a dense neighborhood, this thing becomes a massive liability problem when you miss or punch through drywall. Who is this for? This is for the hardened collector or the guy securing acreage who needs maximum penetration power. For the urban defender, the liability negates the ballistic gain. While the Zastava M50 offers raw punching power, we need something a bit more manageable for close quarters defense where over-penetration is a real concern. Don't let the Spanish service pistol fool you into thinking this is just another 1911 clone wearing a cheap suit. Sure, it's got that single-action crisp trigger DNA and the classic look, but mechanically, it's different. It dumps the grip safety, relying solely on a positive manual safety. This compact steel frame in 9mm is shockingly shootable. That frame weight soaks up the snap, letting you get those fast follow-up shots that those lightweight polymer micro-toys just cough up. You get near-custom ergonomics for surplus prices. It's beautiful steel for the working man's dollar. If you can get a good grip on that steel frame, the recoil impulse is predictable, not sharp. It just drives forward. The trade-off is logistics and fragility. There is 0 parts interchangeability with standard Colt models, so you need to stock up on magazines and springs right now. The import flow from Spain has stopped, and aftermarket magazines are often unreliable junk. More critically, this pistol is not drop-safe. If you drop it or ride the hammer dry without a snap cap, you risk breaking the firing pin clean off. That's a deal-breaker for some, but manageable if you respect the design. This is for the man who values classic trigger feel and reliability in a compact package, provided he respects its unique maintenance needs. It's a good carry piece if you treat it right, unlike the plastic wonders today. If you want a great trigger but need something closer to a modern defensive duty piece than a slightly fragile Spanish classic, stick with me. Beretta 1951. This right here is the evolutionary step, the bridge between the World War II era and those modern Wonder 9s everyone obsesses over. This single-stack 9mm uses that classic Beretta open-slide design. That's a good thing. It dramatically cuts down on those nasty stovepipe jams. It's thinner than that big 92 series, making it easier to slip under a jacket. It also features a cross-bolt safety up top that feels positive and right under the thumb. The fixed barrel design inherent to its lockup system gives it mechanical accuracy, often superior to many service pistols currently shipping today. When you press that single-action trigger, It's generally clean, breaking like a glass rod. The weight of the frame helps manage the 9mm recoil, making sight recovery fast. But it's got a known Achilles heel, brother, the locking block. Run hot ammunition through this thing for too long, and that block can crack or shear right off, turning your handgun into a paperweight. Finding a replacement block now. That's a huge challenge. Plus, the magazine release is on the heel of the grip, the ancient design. That forces a two-handed weapon manipulation drill to reload, which is significantly slower than the buttons everyone expects today. I hate slow reloads when my arthritis is acting up. This is for the history buff or the dedicated shooter who prefers a thin profile and an open top slide for reliability, provided they stick to standard pressure loads. We've covered some compacts, but for serious perimeter defense, we need to step up to rifle power. Something built to absorb punishment that other actions couldn't handle. Mauser Torcom 38. This rifle screams durability. It's built on the large ring Mauser 9.8 action, which means this thing can handle catastrophic pressures that would turn lesser actions into shrapnel. The Turks refurbished these using a mixed bag of German and Czech parts, prioritizing function over anything resembling good looks. It's chambered in the heavy 8mm. That delivers terminal ballistics capable of punching clean through vehicle doors and concrete blocks without blinking. The controlled round feed, the controlled claw extractor, grips the case rim as it leaves the magazine, ensuring it cycles even if you're running or wounded. It just keeps feeding. This thing feels like you are wrestling a railroad tie. It's heavy, but that mass prevents the rifle from jumping wildly, controlling that powerful recoil signature. The downside is purely ergonomic. At nearly 130 centimeters long, it's a rifle pike, useless for home or vehicle defense. This is strictly a perimeter defense tool. Furthermore, most of the cheap ammunition floating around is military surplus using corrosive primers. If you don't clean that barrel with water immediately after shooting, the corrosive salts will eat the rifling up in a matter of days. You'll be left with a smooth bore. This is for the rancher defending a wide open space, not the guy guarding his living room against home invaders. It demands respect and rigorous maintenance if you use surplus rounds. Now, before we move to the next long gun that demands a different kind of respect, let's look at one more tough European pistol that forces you to manage its heavy pull. KelTec KSG. In many ways, this Bullpup shotgun kicked off the modern revival. It proves you can cram massive capacity into a package that isn't ridiculously long. What gets me excited is the sheer compactness. At only 26 inches long, it is perfect for home defense. You can crank it around furniture and corners without the muzzle giving away your position before you do. The firepower potential is nearly absurd. Its dual magazine tubes give you capacity for 15 2 and 3/4 inch shells, or 12 3-inch shells. That's more than enough ammo for most encounters without stopping to reload. The controls are intuitive for modern shooters. KelTec makes swapping between tubes easy with a selector located just behind the grip. That means you can run buckshot in one tube and slugs in the other, alternating on the fly. Loading is simple, done through a traditional bottom port, meaning empties eject straight down, keeping your line of sight clear. However, because it is so light and compact, the recoil is considerable. It kicks like a mule. Unless you enjoy a bruised shoulder, this isn't for relaxed clay shooting. This is a dedicated close combat fighter. If you use proper push-pull technique, it fulfills that role flawlessly. If you want extreme compactness but wish you could juggle two different shell types simultaneously without a selector switch, you might prefer the next option, which mimics AR controls. Smith Wesson M&P 12. Smith & Wesson stepping into the shotgun market was a surprise, but the resulting weapon, a unique bullpup with dual tubes, truly shocked the status quo. What we like about the M&P 12 is that this 12-gauge slide action uses two independent magazine tubes, giving you a massive total capacity of 14 rounds when loaded with standard 2 and 3/4 inch cartridges. It also has a 3-inch chamber, meaning you can load two 3-inch Magnum shells for maximum immediate damage. Defensively, I prefer that capacity flexibility over raw power, since reload time is dead time in a fight. The M&P 12 also features two pistol grips for control, one rear, one on the forend, which helps mitigate that inherent bullpup recoil. They are modeled after the M&P pistol series, allowing you to swap out the palm swell grip inserts based on your hand size. Crucially, unlike some others on this list, it has fully ambidextrous controls, AR-15 style, making it familiar for rifle shooters. The muzzle is also compatible with rem chokes to tune your pattern spread. The downside is that the loading process is complex. Never try to reload this mid-defense scenario. It requires focus and dexterity. Hopefully, that massive potential capacity of 15 shells is enough to see you through before you run dry. While the Smith & Wesson gives you familiar controls, the next one feels like heavy Soviet hardware built for function, not elegance. Savage Renegade Security. The Savage Renegade Security is a genuinely nice shotgun to run because it feels like a tool designed for a specific purpose, not just a converted house gun. It runs smoother than its blunt, angular lines on the stock and receiver might suggest, offering a refined shooting experience despite its tough exterior. The feeling here is pure functionality. It has a serious, almost Soviet-era air where form follows function strictly. Among its virtues are how easily it loads and the incredible adjustability of the stock. It uses Savage's DRIV gas system, which vents excess gas to ensure consistent cycling whether you're popping light birdshot or heavy defensive slugs. It comes with stock spacers and the ability to swap comb inserts to perfectly tailor the fit to your body geometry and optic height. It ships with decent ghost ring sights, though surprisingly, it lacks a factory Picatinny rail, a small oversight in this red dot era. The aggressive checkering on the pump slide reminds you of the Sabot line. You appreciate the grip it offers under stress. This is not a Swiss Army knife shotgun. It's built to shoot heavy defensive loads accurately. If you like that industrial look and need adjustability, this is a solid choice. If you want a gun that doubles the firepower with every pump action, prepare yourself for some serious engineering. Borinai. Remington 870 Tactical. I added this legend to the list for one simple reason. You cannot talk about home defense without paying tribute to the king of pump shotguns. While other guns on this list try to reinvent the wheel with bullpup designs or dual tubes, the Remington 870 remains the definition of bomb-proof simplicity. This is the shotgun that set the standard for law enforcement for decades, residing on more patrol cars than any other weapon in history. The tactical model usually features an 18.5-inch barrel and an extended magazine tube installed from the factory, giving you a capacity of 5+1 or 6+1, depending on the specific configuration. The real selling point is the milled steel receiver. Unlike the aluminum receivers found on Mossbergs, the 870 feels solid, heavy, durable, and it simply doesn't fail under abuse. In a high-stress situation, the simple manual action, rack the slide, squeeze the trigger, removes variables and creates a terrifying sound everyone recognizes. With millions of aftermarket parts available, from stocks to foreigns, you can build it exactly how you want it. If you want a weapon that will survive you and your grandkids, this is it. It's not fancy, but it is reliable steel.